Hello. This little presentation is intended for all you awning fabricators out there to explain to you why you ought to consider using Recacril awning fabric for your next presentation. When you're looking at Recasense, the company, one thing that's unique about us is that we're vertically integrated. And what that means is that we control all the steps of the manufacturing process. We bring in big bales of solution dyed acrylic fabric, and we're able to card, spin, creel, warp, weave, finish, back coat the fabric, test the fabric, warehouse the fabric, and ship it all over the world, all by ourselves. And what that means is that we can control the quality at every step of the process and control the costs as well. And you might say, well, what does that mean for me? Well, that means that we can provide you with a top quality fabric at a very good value. And so I want to get into some of that in detail. First of all, it starts with the yarn production. We make the yarn in our own facilities up in northern Spain, close to the French border. These are aerial pictures of our two factories where we card the fiber, draw and spin the yarn, and package it on cones. Those cones are then shipped down to Tarragona, where Recasense was established back in 1886. This is the same location where we started in 1886. And over the years, we've expanded and added building after building until we used just about every square foot of lot space we had there. And it's all used for manufacturing now. This is where all the weaving and finishing takes place in-house. Some of the buildings might be mighty old, but the equipment and the technology and the manufacturing methods under those roofs is all state-of-the-art and very modern. We've grown so much that just in the city over from Tarragona, we've purchased large warehouses, one to store our finished yarn inventory, and then another global distribution center building where we keep our finished fabric and organized fabric for container shipments all over the world. This allows us to give you very good service here in the US, especially since we have a US presence in our main warehouses in Hickory, North Carolina, stocking fabric for you. And when it gets into manufacturing the fabric, what gives us an advantage is that all that manufacturing is happening through one supply channel. All the yarn comes through the same mills, all the fabrics woven in the same place and finished on the same finishing ranges. What this does for us is it gives us good control and consistent control of the entire manufacturing process from production lot to production lot. And what this gives you is a very consistent fabric, which makes it consistent for your fabrication methods. And this is another sign of our great quality. Another variation we do from the main best known product when it comes to acrylics is that we spin our yarns just a little bit smaller than theirs, but then we have a higher thread count per square inch. And by adding just a few more yarns per square inch, we close up all the gaps in those weaves. So when you look from underneath a big patio awning up at the sky on a bright day, you'll see far fewer pinholes in our fabric than some of our competitors. And what this does is gives you better long-term protection. The hand of the fabric naturally from that tight weave is firmer, and that protection from the tight weave never goes away like a finish that's applied topically to the face of the fabric. So long-term, you're getting a better product. And when it comes to that tight weave, it gives you consistent water resistance too. We do put a water resistant finish on our fabric like everybody else, but we also rely on that tight weave to provide protection. And since the weave is so consistent, our water column ratings tend to be more consistent than our competitors. Now, since we spin our own yarn, we have good control over the quality of our end product, our woven fabric. You can't make a good woven fabric without good yarns. We spin our yarns to maximize the quality of our woven fabric. So I think you'll find, and we've heard this from fabricator after fabricator, that the flaws on our fabric are far fewer than what they find on our competitors' fabric. This makes it easier for you to work with the fabric, less flaws to work around, and better efficiency in your shop. Another sign of quality. Now, when you get that fabric into your shop, you're going to notice other things that you like about it too. So when you pull that fabric out on your cutting table, you're going to see that the fabric has excellent lay flat, no waffling on the table, very flat fabric on the table. Also, that fabric's going to have a consistent, firm hand. It won't vary a lot from lot to lot, and it's nice and firm to work with so that it moves around on the table very nicely without crumpling on you. You'll also see that our ultrasonic edges are cut very straight, and that makes joining panels of fabric, whether you're welding or double stitching the fabric, very easy and very consistent. Sewing the fabric is great. We hear from fabricator after fabricator that there's less puckering. Even when you're sewing across the fabric with a walking foot machine, you'll see far less puckering, and that has to do with that dense weave. The fabric, as firm as it is and as densely woven as it is, just doesn't want to pucker. You'll also find with the fabric being so firm and straight that it can be easier to feed into your welder, and that when you do cut the fabric, you'll notice that that dense weave really resists fraying as well, much more than the other fabrics you're used to working with. So all these things make the fabric easier to work with, which increases your productivity and gives you a consistent end product. Now, weaving the fabric that tight in our special finishing process with the Infinity process, what we found time after time is that our acrylic has superior dimensional stability compared to other acrylic fabrics that are often used. So I know some of you guys, when you cut a pattern for an awning, you undercut it for a little bit so that you can pull out the stretch in the fabric. Well, with Recasens, you need to cut it to the size of the frame and not undercut it. You can just pull the fabric snug, and as time passes and the weather changes and you get a rainy day or a damp day or a cold day, you're not going to see that drape or sag in the fabric like you do some of our competitors' fabrics. So it'll be easier to work with. You don't have to wear out your muscles pulling so hard on the thing. Just pull the fabric snug, but don't be using tools to wrench it around the lace bar and things like that. And you'll get a nice snug fit to begin with that'll keep that snug fit. And what that does is it makes you and your end product and your company look better over time with your end product. Now, Recasens might be an old mill, but the way we do things is very modern, and we document everything so that it's repeatable and reliable. And we are a certified ISO 9001 certified mill that gives us the structure and the organization to do things on a consistent basis and enhance our quality. Recasens and our Recacril fabric is really a performance fabric, not just a fade-resistant decorative fabric, but a performance fabric. One of the ways we prove that is that we test the thermal and visual properties for every color, much like solar screening fabrics are tested for their solar properties. So for every color of Recacril, We can give you the thermal properties of that fabric, the optical properties of that fabric, and even the visual properties of that fabric. In other words, whether the level of visual comfort you'll have in an awning or underneath an awning when you use a certain color. Another test we perform is the UPF rating. Many people have heard of the SPF rating that has to do with suntan lotions, but UPF is a testing method specifically for fabric and how well it protects your skin. It's used very often for performance clothing that's used to protect you from the sun. But we've run those tests on our fabrics, and we've found that all of our fabrics, if you are protected by the fabric, you can stay out in the sun 50 times as long as you would if your skin was just exposed to the sun. So it's a fabric that will provide you excellent, excellent protection outdoors. And then when it comes to protection, you're protected too, and that Recacril is covered by a 10-year limited warranty. And we stand behind that warranty and are proud of our fabrics. And if for some chance there was an issue with our fabric, we stand behind that warranty. And I'm the one that handles those claims. My name's Doug Dubay, and you would be dealing with me. And I can assure you that we'll handle it in a very quick, prompt, and professional manner. So next time you need a solution dyed acrylic for an awning project, consider Recacril because it really is a great fabric.